It's literally 3 a.m. 7 minutes past 3 to be exact, but I have just found out that the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees have been announced, and I don't think I can go to sleep knowing that they are out without looking. So I'm gonna react now. I was fully expecting these to release like mid-morning tomorrow. I thought, well, mid-afternoon, early afternoon. I thought that they would release like morning US time, and so it would be like lunchtime, early afternoon, late morning, depending on what US time they went by. But they've released now, and I can't wait any longer. But I really wanted to do a reaction video for you guys, so here we are. I'm in my hoodie. My hair is still wet from the shower, but I don't care because the Goodreads nominees are out. I'm gonna put on the screen what I predicted for the romance category, and we'll see how many of them I was right about and how many I was wrong about, more importantly. I don't want to see anything. I'm just trying to open it up. Okay, I'm screen recording. Ooh, audiobook. That's a new category. I panicked for a second. I thought there was no romance category. They would never do that to me. Okay, I am gonna get up my predictions on my own phone just so that I can compare, but like I said, I will put them on the screen somewhere. I don't know if it'll stay on the screen this whole time, but yeah. Okay, well, the 3 that previews I predicted, so there's that. I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm scared. Okay, I'm clicking. Okay. I can see 4 fully and the tops of 4 more, and already I know I've missed 3. So, Not in Love, obviously I predicted. Wild Love, I predicted. This Summer Will Be Different, I predicted. This Could Be Us, I did not predict. I didn't think that got many votes. Let's open you in another tab. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep it to 1 at a time. Bride, obviously I predicted, and I knew it was gonna be in the romance category. Go me. I knew it was gonna be in the romance. A lot of people were saying it could be romantasy, but I knew in my heart that it would be romance. First of all, I feel like paranormal romance does not get cast as romantasy, but second of all, every list that Goodreads had included it on, it called it romance, and it was listed as romance first on the page. Okay. My heart's going rom-commers, I predicted. The Love of My Afterlife, I didn't predict. I had not heard of this book when I made my predictions. I did make my predictions quite early. I had not heard of this, but then I heard loads of people talk about it after, so I'm not surprised. Swift and Saddled, I am an idiot because I did not consider sequels that previous books hadn't been nominated for. Let me double check that. Yeah, every book on my predictions here that is a sequel, the previous book was nominated. Maybe not. I'm not sure if the cheat sheet did. I feel like it was, but that's the only one that I'm not sure about. And I was stupid for ignoring that because this series got huge this year, so obviously Swift and Saddled was going to be on here. Oh, there's another one that I hadn't predicted. That's the author of Crazy Rich Asians. I should have known that. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, predicted. Paradise Problem, predicted. Lies, again, this is another one that I hadn't heard anything about. 30,000 ratings, 3.79. Oh, I didn't realise I could just hover over them for the ratings. Okay, that has a super high rating and it's a sequel. What is it a sequel to? Is it a sequel to... Oh, it's a sequel to Before I Let Go. Okay, I should have considered that. Lies and Weddings, I feel like I've heard about a book by the Crazy Rich Asians author being talked about, but I don't know if I knew that it came out this year, what it was, anything about it. But again, just for the summer, predicted. Okay. King of Sloth, I predicted. The Pairing, predicted. How to End a Love Story. This is another one that I hadn't heard of when I made my predictions. I don't know how I missed it. After I made my predictions, I saw this on someone else's predictions. Then it became like, it was everywhere. So I realised, like, yeah, that's going to be on there, and I missed it. Leather and Lock is the same reason as Swift and Saddled, except I actually considered this. Swift and Saddled, I kind of forgot that series was a thing, that any books were coming out this year for it. But Leather and Lock literally came up when I was looking at options of books that released this year, and I didn't consider it because Butcher and Blackbird hadn't been nominated, and in my logic, Butcher and Blackbird did so much better. So obviously, if that wasn't nominated, Leather and Lock wasn't going to be, and that was dumb of me. Oh, I did not consider the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore at all. I should have, because again, that series has been so popular this year. Funny Story, Play Along and Daydream, I predicted. But this means I can actually have read 2 books on this list by the time I vote, and not 1, which is what I thought it was going to be. Interesting. Okay, let me just actually count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't feel too bad about that. At all. 13. Some of them I'm annoyed about. I'm annoyed about Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I should have considered that series. I'm annoyed about Leather and Lock. I should have just put it on. I'm annoyed about Swift and Saddled because I should have considered that series. I'm annoyed I did my predictions so early that I hadn't heard about How to End a Love Story and The Love of My Afterlife. But I still don't know whether I would have put them on. I haven't heard of Lies and Weddings, so I would never have put that on here. This Could Be Us, I just didn't consider, even though I probably should have. But yeah, let's go through the rest of the categories now, because why not? Okay, Intermezzo, obviously. Haven't heard of any of these. Leanne Moriarty is at least an author I've heard of. The Dolly Anderton one I've heard of. I feel like I've seen this cover about Greta and Valden. Ellen Hildebrand is popular, that makes sense. Blue Sisters, again, Coco Mellors. I don't know if her previous book was nominated, but it was really popular. But I haven't read any of those, and I don't even know if I'm interested in any of them. But that is pretty normal for me. I'm not a big litfic, girly. Okay, historical fiction, not heard of any of these. Kristen Hanna, The Women, obviously. I've heard of this Seventh Veil of Salome. Jodie Picoult, I've heard that name. I don't know if I recognise that cover though. Yeah, again, haven't read any of these. There's a couple that I've vaguely heard of, but I don't know enough about to know if I'm interested. Mystery and Thriller, this is another category I'm super interested in. Okay, Darling Girls, House of Glass. Rich Rossman, we knew who was going to be there. We knew. Okay. Okay, we've got our first Frida McFadden. And our second, but there's only 2, so that's good. Okay, editing Sam here. Yes, I'm still in my hoodie, but it is the daytime now. I didn't catch on to this as I was scrolling through, possibly because it was 3 a.m. But the Housemaid, like the third Housemaid book, isn't on there. Like, I'm so surprised. Like, I thought the two Fridas, like, it was definitely going to be the third housemaid book and then one of the other two, or all three. Like, the second one won last year. I did not think it was an option that wasn't going to be on there, and I'm so surprised. But I didn't even clock as I was scrolling through that was the case. Because she'd have 3 releases this year, and I would not have been surprised if all 3 were on here. And I don't think any author should have that much of a monopoly when there's only 20 slots, you know? But yeah, quite a few I'm interested in here. How many do I own? 1. Yeah, I own 1, but I know I'm not going to be reading it before this happens. Before I need to vote. I've looked through romantasy, okay. Honey Witch, I've heard good things, I think, about. I actually don't know what I've heard. This has been super popular, yeah. Feybound, heard so much about. Spell Shop has been well talked about, but I did not know that was romantasy. I've heard a lot of people who I don't think like romantasy talk about this book, and I thought it was just a cozy fantasy. Fate Inked in Blood, knew that was going to be on here. Of course, A Touch of Chaos, the Hades and Persephone's series, Quicksilver, and the Moon Hatched, again, 2 that have been really, really popular. Do I own any so far? No. Apprentice to the Villain, I know a lot of people have talked about. I actually have one of the books on this list. Again, don't think I'm going to be reading it beforehand, but this was an Illumicrate book, so I do have it. Of course, she's there, of course. I feel like there's more than 9 books in this series. I feel like there's about 50,000, but whatever, fantasy. Okay, The Familiar, obviously. Although I've not heard amazing reviews about this. A lot of people read it, and obviously she's a popular author. But Warm Hands of Ghosts, I know a lot of people have enjoyed. Voyage of the Damned surprises me, because I've heard not so great things about this. A lot of people who've read this haven't loved it. But it's another Illumicrate book, and I've been scared to read it because of people's reactions. And Academy for Liars, I've heard a lot about. Emily Wilde, the second book in that series. The Tainted Cup, I've heard a lot about. Of course, that's the sequel to House of Cerulean Sea. I'm not going through every single book for these categories because they're not. Romance is the only one I know well enough to feel, you know, inclined about any of them. Like, I feel like I actually know what most of them are about, whereas even Mystery Thriller, which is the next one I'm most interested in, I don't know what a lot of them are about. Okay, sci-fi. Ministry of Time I have. I'm excited to get to that one. Annie Bot I've heard of, and I know a couple of people that absolutely love that book. John Mars, I know a couple of super fans of his. Horror. This should be interesting. I don't think I've ever read a horror book, like a real horror book. But, yeah. Don't not load on me now, Goodreads. Don't do it. I will laugh if Boris Johnson's biography is in the memoirs, or history and biography, whichever one it would classify. Yeah, history and biography would classify as. Come on, Goodreads. Not now. Okay, it's finally loaded. I Was a Teenage Slasher I have, and it's one I'm excited to read. We've got 2 Stephen Graham Jones here. This, I don't know if it's the same author, but that looks like the cover for that octopus book. The Beautifully Great Creatures one, whatever it's called. Okay. What Feasts at Night. I've not heard the greatest of things for that. Is this a vampire book? This looks like it should be a vampire book. I feel like I've heard things about that. Diavola, all I know about that is that in Italian that means pepperoni. That sounds so dumb, but it came up in a conversation, and now whenever I see that book, all I can think about is the fact that that word means pepperoni or salami. Don't quote me on that. We Used to Live Here. Middle Road. I've heard not so great things about that. I also had that in my head that was YA. Maybe people's criticisms was that it felt YA. Okay. The Eyes is the Best Part is another one I own. Obviously we've got Stephen King, and then Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle I'm interested in. Okay, debut. This is the only other category there's a chance I've read one of the nominees for, because I've read a grand total of 34 releases so far this year. One of them's Daydream. 2 of them are romances that I knew weren't going to be nominated, and, you know, just felt. Yeah, I just knew they weren't going to be nominated. One is like October's Afterlight, which I would have had hope for maybe debut if it wasn't for the fact that, 1, I feel like romance isn't nominated in debut very often unless it does super, super well, and 2, the fact that it came out so close, it didn't have time to build up that audience. The other 2024 release is Rewitched, which didn't have loads of reviews in comparison to like what the nominees get, but it's had a lot of hype, so I feel like it could be under debut. Okay, Ministry of Time. Welcome to the Hyunam bookshop. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. If you know how to pronounce it and I pronounced it wrong, please feel free to correct me. A couple of these are ones that have been nominated in other categories. Ooh, scary. Well, I can just eat my words, can't I? Yeah, so I've read one nominee. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Not that I'm planning on reading all the nominees or anything, like through all the categories. I am considering doing either reading all the romance nominees, reading all like the top 10 romance nominees, or reading all the winners like at some point early next year. It just depends what I have time for, what I can get my hands on, and quite frankly, how interested I am in the books that fill those categories. Favourite audiobook? I like this as a new category. Correct me if I'm wrong, this hasn't been a category before, right? I don't think so. Interesting that Funny Story is on there. I really hope Emily Henry doesn't win this just by name. Like, I love Emily. I've only read one book by her so far. I do love her. But she wins every year by a mile, and I think someone else needs a chance, you know? And if she wins romance and audiobook, it will annoy me a little bit. Ooh, is this? There's a new 1984 audiobook that people have been loving. Interesting. We Solve Murders. I hope that has I hope this gets up there, because mystery and thriller, Richard Osman, I've not read any of his books. I do own all of them, and I'm really excited for all of them. But a lot of my friends love all his work, and he never wins. He always gets like top like 5. I feel like he never wins, and I feel like this category could be his opportunity to win. Ooh, Just for the Summer is in there too. I've not actually heard many things about that as an audiobook. Interesting. Young adult fantasy. Okay, I know nothing about this category. Okay, The Invocations I've heard of. It was in a book box. Can't remember what. Wisteria, that's the Belladonna. Yeah, Foxglove is the second book, isn't it? Holly Black, of course. So I feel like I've seen this cover. So Let Them Burn. Ruthless Vows came out this year. Interesting. I feel like that will win. Of Jade and Dragons, that's another Illumicrate that I'm scared of. I'm basically scared of most Illumicrate books because they've not been getting the best like reviews just in general. Okay, Hot Sunset, that's one I'm excited for. It's also called Crimson Milk, and I'm really excited to read that. Oh, maybe Ruthless Vows won't win because we've got Brandon Sanderson, which, if people who don't read YA are voting, they'll vote and are voting on name. Brandon Sanderson could get there, but also people who don't typically read YA, if they've read any, it would be the Brandon Sanderson, I feel like. Reckless is also up there for the winner, I feel like. This one, Don't Let the Forest In, I've seen so many ads for that one on Instagram. Young adult fiction. Okay. Heartstopper Volume 5. We love. I've not read, but we love. Betting on You. I soft DNF this. I just couldn't get into it. And I don't know if it was a time, so I am going to give Full Paint another go because I did really enjoy Better Than the Movies. But I am fearing that I just should not try young adult romance anymore because it has a certain feeling to it that I'm just, yeah, even though I'm not long out of that age group, it feels like the problems feel so insignificant, and I don't mean that in a mean way. Like, and I can love YA romance, we see that with Heartstopper, for example, but a lot of the times it feels so insignificant. I don't know. If only I had told her that could win. But I've also heard people say, like, this book is basically just the first book from his point of view and we didn't need it, so maybe not, but people, that series has people in a chokehold. Death at Morning House, I've not read anything by Maureen Johnson, but I'm really excited to get to Truly DVS, and I've heard good things. Dungeons and Drama, I've heard good things. Where Sleeping Girls Lie, a book club that I'm part of, has recently read this, and I didn't take part in the live show because I didn't want spoilers, so I don't know what everyone's consensus was. A Thousand Broken Pieces, again, another sequel to a book that a lot of people love. Gwen and Not in Love, I feel like is one that a lot of non-YA readers read, so that's got a good shot. Same with The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Holly Jackson does get those not typically YA readers. Most Ardently, I've heard a lot of good things about. Nothing Like the Movies, see, that's the sequel to Better Than the Movies. I'm not even interested in reading it, to be honest. But that's got a good shout. Good shot. That's Not My Name, I've heard a lot of good things about. Icarus, I've heard good things. And then we've got The Grandest Game, which is a spin-off series to the Inheritance game, so that has a shot. Non-fiction. This I found interesting. Wait, that was... I've not read this book, but I'm so excited it's been nominated, because when I was discussing with my friends what could be nominated, we really didn't think this was going to be nominated. Let me just go back and say what I was going to say about young adult fiction first. So, where is it? Jandy Nelson did not know that they had come out with a new book. But I remember everyone being obsessed with their old books. So that's another one where maybe a lot of readers who aren't typically reading YA might vote just because it's a name they recognise and enjoyed possibly when they were younger. Okay, this cover is everything. Very on topic, very important to not to current things. Okay, this Disney High, this is what I got excited about. I'm so excited to read this book. The 2 people I know who have read it loved it, 5 stars. I'm so excited to read it. And I'm so excited that it's been nominated because it's only got 603 ratings. So we really did not think it was going to be on here. Oh. Another women's reproductive health non-fiction. Interesting. I mean, I'm here for it. I just find it interesting that like things on similar topics are being nominated. I've not heard of any. Wow, we're really on theme, aren't we? Oh, I've heard of this one. Is that the one where like there's loads of different people wrote in and it's like celebrities and randomers like all together and it's all anonymous? I think it is. Oh, this sounds interesting. From pop culture podcast and Voice of a Generation, Kate Kennedy, celebration of millennials like Ice 1 and millennials. That's interesting, even though I'm not a millennial, but there might be things that I relate to. I don't know. I feel like a lot of things that people say is like what millennials grow up with, like my half of Gen Z also can relate to sometimes, especially if it's stuff that the younger side of millennials relate to. Okay, memoir, haven't heard of any of these. RuPaul, good chance of winning, depending what else to say. Sociopath, that only came out this year. I did not know that came out this year. I've heard so many things about that. That's got a good shot. The Manicurist's Daughter, interesting. Whoopi Goldberg, that's got a good shot. When did this come out? Because like 9,000 ratings. I feel like that's lower than I would have expected. The Third Gilmore Girl, again, another one that has a good shot just because of sheer popularity of Gilmore Girls. Grief is for People, interesting. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, I don't know what any of those are. History and biography. If Boris Johnson, it's already loaded, but I'm not looking. If Boris Johnson's here, I will laugh. The Bookshop, a history of the American bookstore. Adding that to the TBR. Okay. A true story of sex, murder, and utopia at the dawn of World War II. A history of horror from Salem and Steve. Why do all of these sound so good? Interesting. Huh. Boris Johnson's was not there. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I think I'm most excited about... I've gone past it because I forget that the order keeps on changing. Disney High being on there. I'm so excited about that. But yeah. I might come back with more thoughts tomorrow. I could literally just film the outro. Who knows? I just wanted to get my reactions live. And I couldn't wait to open it. I'm gonna like digest what I've just witnessed. I am just gonna end the video here. Thank you for joining me in finding out all the Goodreads nominees. If you got this far, leave the trophy emoji down below. And yeah, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or any of my other social medias, that is all linked down below as always. And if you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It would be much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.